Alrighty then, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Challenger Cup North American second round, sponsored by Team Monster and hi-rez Studios. My name's Extreme, and I'm joined here by Tiger. Tiger, how are you doing today?
I am doing fantastic. How are you doing, Extreme?
I'm doing great. And we have our first round coming up, Lucifer versus Voltage Gaming.
It's a pun. I already love the team name. But waiting for a couple of bands to come out. Already we're seeing a Thor. Definitely don't want that mobility across the map. And a Kali.
Yep, Thor and Kali, these kind of, really strong junglers. Kali a little unusual, as we don't see her played as often. But she's still, got a lot of power. She's Kali. She does Kali things. Especially when you get those chin size online. It's all kinds of nastiness. But the bans are all through, Hui and Athena. What do you think about these bans so far?
If you've ever watched me cast before, you know all about the Hui geometry. Those ricochets and the crow mark are incredibly potent and can definitely solo out just about anybody if you're not careful. And the Athena, another global presence, so not going to be able to dash from one bit of the map to the other to help out a teammate. And Lucifer going to draft in the Raijin. So another glass cannon, going to go ahead and be brought onto the roster. And Voltage Gaming getting up that Janus. Pretty meta pick so far.
Yeah, kind of interesting. These bans almost seem very targeted. Like they don't want a specific player. Thor ban first round is a little unusual, but it's kind of I mean, hey, do what works for you. That's all I say. So.
I mean, Thor has a lot of hard CC, and he can definitely wreck a team fight, or even just with a double tap, take a lot of damage later on. Khepri gonna get picked up by Voltage Gaming, and Lucifer drafting that Naja. Now, I kind of wanted to see the Naja into some solo ultimates, but with the Taiko drums, it's a lot of damage coming out from Raijin. And pair that up with the Sun Wukong, not a bad pick.
Yeah, Sun Wukong in this solo lane, I assume. I don't quite know. Could go all over the place, but Sun Wukong, kind of an interesting early pick. You don't see it as often. What do you think about, Sun Wukong's matchups? He's got a lot of, decent play, or...
He has his CC, right? You have the Tiger form, you have the Ox form, and you have the Eagle. Tiger you can stun, Ox you can knock up and get out of a situation. Eagle, you can just eagle the heck out of there. So he'll be able to get himself out of sticky situations, but he doesn't have some of the same utility that, say, A1 you might have. And oh my gosh, it's a Fenrir! Voltage Gaming picking up the Fenrir. I'm excited. I'm already excited.
Yep, and the Susano ban going as well. Geb as well being banned. No supports being picked up yet for Lucifer, so Geb ban pretty smart. Interesting that they wouldn't, decide to pick up, something kind of nice like that Geb, but especially over the Sun Wukong, like I don't know. Seems a little weird to me, but, you do you.
I mean, it seems a little weird to me that Susanoo made it to the second pick and ban phase versus not being picked up by Lucifer or Voltage Gaming immediately. But no Susanoo there is a very terrifying pick, especially as we saw the mid lane or the jungle, depending. Ao Kwang and the Osiris out as well. And Voltage Gaming picking up more than likely an Apollo ADC. So even though we took off the Athena and the Thor with the global presence, Voltage Gaming kind of taking a little bit of a leg up there, going to be able to get across the map very quickly with the Apollo ultimate.
Yep, and Neith and Kumbhakarna, Neith kind of matching up with that Apollo ultimate with that global presence, but in a little bit of a different way. She just fires at people and stuns them for a little bit. Kumbhakarna as well for your support versus an Apollo Khepri lane. That's going to be very interesting. Neith, pretty high clear god. Apollo and Khepri, probably the most high clearing gods in the game right now. So,
but you know what? I love the Kumbhakarna pick because pitting that with the Naja is going to be able to take anybody out of the game for a couple of seconds, and then you know exactly where they're coming down. And I like to call Kumbhakarna the Wumbo combo because with his root, his mez, even the epic uppercut, you know exactly. You're basically stalling them for a couple of seconds, and then you can follow that up with the Neith. Really, that's just going to hedge pin into Raijin getting off as much damage as he can while the rest of his team keeps people in place, so he doesn't have to worry about having to taunt them towards him or anything like that, or even the fear. And speaking of fear, we're going to see a couple of fearlesses from Voltage Gaming as they pick up the tier.
Yeah, tier, the last pick, playing into that Sun Wukong, pretty well match up, but we'll see kind of how it goes when you get to game. Tiger, what do you think about these overall team comps? Who do you think is going to win, just based off of team comps alone?
Based off team comps alone and not my absolute love of Fenrir, I'm still going to say Voltage Gaming. You have a little bit of a leg up with the Janus through space and time, going to be able to get across the map. Apollo going to be able to help out teammates if they're stuck in a sticky situation with the ultimate as well. Lucifer have a lot of damage and a lot of combo, but if Raijin gets stalled out early on, I'm worried it's not really going to be enough. So Lucifer going to have to be very carefully aggressive versus Voltage Gaming in this next game.
Yeah, I think if Lucifer can manage to, get an early kill or get some early burst damage onto Voltage Gaming, I think it would be phenomenal, and I would love to see that. And I think that would really help them continue that momentum, but it very much depends on their early game, right? If they can get these Kumbhakarna ultimates early into Naja and nonsense, it could be nasty, and you could easily set up a first blood that way, but it very much depends on this early game. Late game, I feel Lucifer not as strong. You have a Neith versus an Apollo. You have a Sun Wukong versus a Tyr. We'll see. The Naja, pretty devastating late game. But I don't know. It's just I feel like Voltage Gaming's got it in the later stages of the game, especially with that Janus. Once you get utility online, you can just do all kinds of Janus nonsense, getting people out, and I like the healthy amount of mobility that Voltage Gaming has.
Either way, shenanigans are definitely going to ensue as we jump in to round one of the North American Challengers Cup. Lucifer versus Voltage Gaming, brought to you by hi-rez Studios, Owlhead Studios, and Discord. Stay tuned, we'll have that game to you in just a second. All right, ladies and gents, welcome to round one of the Challengers Cup here for the NA side. I am Tiger, this is Extreme Man, and I'm going to introduce the boys in the blue trunks on the left side of your spectator UI. You have Helsing on the Sun Wukong with the solo lane, Zithro on Naja in the jungle, Will the Thrill on Raijin in the mid lane, Bloody Jaw on Kumbhakarna as the support, and Caves of Ice on Neith as the ADC.
And on the right side of your spectator UI, we have Am Deadly on that Tyr, Goose Shooter on that Fenrir jungle, Zenra Grade on that Janus in the mid, Lucrezia on that Khepri on the dual lane, and Spellboy taking Apollo to the ADC role. Typical starts coming out. Alrighty, we're going to have
a pretty standard start. Nobody's going too deep to get some warding or get any crazy starts with any Sunders or Talaria boots. No crazy starts. Instead, we're just going to see pretty aggressive mid lanes. We have a Janus with a pot as well as the Raijin with a pot. So both of them are coming to play, and a beautiful purification coming out from Will the Thrill, already to not go into the portal, but still, that unstable vortex is going to take a lot of damage, and Will the Thrill pushed out pretty hard thanks to the minion power too.
Yeah, this is kind of interesting. Janus with a pot is a little unusual. We don't see it that often, but it can work, certainly, but Will the Thrill taking a lot of poke in response. Raijin getting to lane a little later, I think, than he expected, but he does hit level 3 first, which is very important. We'll kind of see. Interesting that the Fenrir went around the bottom side and not actually he didn't go on Raijin at all. So.
Well, Will the Thrill, oh my goodness, saw him, and more than likely would have pulled the Brutalize if he, brutalized into the tower, and that's a little bit of extra early damage you don't want to get on the jungler. Goose Shooter wants to go ahead and try to get those last hits, get in and get out, brutalize, and then jump. That way you don't have to worry about anything else.
Yeah, Will the Thrill already sitting at level 4. Zenra Grade just hit level 4, so he's a little behind in Will the Thrill, and his jungler Zithro will be going to these back camps, just doing a pretty standard job of doing all the necessary things to farm. So nothing too unusual coming out. Just a nice clean start.
Yeah, nothing unusual yet. Both teams are playing it pretty safe, showing a lot of respect to the other. Although, kind of worried about the duo lane here. Lucifer, throughout the entire game so far, have been pushed back into tower and haven't really been able to aggress or even get their minions outside of the tower's protection. So Voltage making sure to keep them pushed back, and it's gonna slowly start stunting their XP.
Yeah, it's a little expected. Apollo Khepri is going to be just one of the most high clearing lanes, and it takes a little time for Neith to get a clear online. And Lucrezia taking a little bit of damage, but Caves of Ice trading a lot. Spellboy almost killing Caves of Ice there, but not able to find the last couple autos. Still, Caves of Ice is incredibly poked out now, and he's going to have a hard time really getting back to lane. Oh, the Janus ultimate!
Ah! Oh my goodness! Beautiful through space and time from Zendergrade in the mid lane, gonna be able to pull him back, and now Bloody Jaw getting pulled back. That passive is procced, and Lucrezia gonna be able to finish him off, and Spellboy gonna get that last hit. That was beautiful communication from Voltage.
Zendergrade with the shot from deep, able to connect. Wow, that was amazing. Very well coordinated by Zendergrade, and now First Blood going to Janus. That's gonna put Raijin a little more behind than I think he wanted to.
Yeah, definitely. In the case of Raijin, you're a glass cannon. You don't really have a lot of say, unless it's the realm of damage. Now we have Lucifer trying to make sure the Voltage Gaming don't take anything in their particular jungle, and Daily and Goose Shooter want to probably have the potential to do so, but Helsing gonna at least be a tasty enough target to keep them in the solo lane for now.
Yeah.
But in the case of Raijin, you want to make sure that you get ahead early on, because you do a lot of damage, and the more damage you do, obviously the harder time Voltage is going to have.
Yep, and it looks like Zithro's going to start his speed buff up right now. Lilithrow coming in to help out. That was almost a secure there coming out of Voltage Gaming, but just the presence alone, not able to secure it. Goose Shooter now going to head to do his back camps, and again, these very aggressive plays coming out of Voltage Gaming in the duo lane. Bloody Jaw is still level 4, doesn't even have his ultimate at 4 minutes into the game. This is going to be a very tough game for Lucifer, to come back in after that early damage. It's going to be rough.
Bloody Jaw just hit level 5, but like I said, Voltage Gaming doing a fantastic job of making sure to stunt their EXP growth. They even took the back board camps on their side. So Voltage Gaming taking what little bit they can. It's slowly starting to inch in their favor, just a smidge. Already about 3,000 experience in favor of the boys in red, and almost 2,000 gold as well. So they have a strong hold on this early game, and I'm kind of worried for Lucifer because they're playing too passive.
Yeah, I'd call it a little more than a smidge, but it's a start, and if Voltage Gaming can continue, they will probably push into the later stages of the game. Their early game is working out surprisingly well. I mean, I guess not too surprisingly. It is like Khepri, Apollo, and all that stuff, but Zendergrade maybe trying to do some damage here, but looks like Will Thrill just gonna use his ultimate. He's gonna shove them all away and not really start anything. Zithro, though, in the wings, maybe waiting for Goose Shooter and Zendergrade to go on, but nice sash. Ultimate a little off the mark from Zithro, but
yeah, he wanted it, wasn't able to follow up with it. Now we have Lucrezia with the Khepri trying to come in through space and time, gonna hit Will the Thrill. Looking Goose Shooter trying to go deep, trying to get a bite onto anyone, not gonna be able to, doesn't want to press it too hard. A beautiful example of Voltage Gaming playing aggressive but playing smart. Still trying to get Will the Thrill here. They're fallen pretty far back into their tower. Gonna get a little bit of long range poke from the Khepri. They haven't been able to lock anyone down yet, but it's pretty detrimental just to see how much they hurt Zithro, already getting chunked by that Janus. It's just not good for them right now. And Goose Shooter trying to come in with a little bit of redemption. Brutalize going to be fantastic, and Zendergrade going to finish him off with the unstable vortex. Now Will the Thrill going to be stunted. Not good.
Yeah, Will the Thrill's going to be a little more behind, I think, than he really wanted. Zendergrade is sitting at 2-0, so he's pretty happy about himself. He's going to look to invade the Lucifer's red buff, just ensure that little bit of extra damage and help shut down this. Actually, that went to Apollo. Just trying to, increase the snowballing on that dual lane. But now, Voltage Gaming may be looking towards this Gold Fury. No wards up on the map for Lucifer, so they have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, they don't have that. They don't have that communication. They don't have the vision. They don't really have a lot. The Voltage Gaming actually do have. It's 7 minutes, 20 seconds into the game, 0-3 in favor of Voltage Gaming so far, over 5,000 experience and over almost 4,000 gold in favor of the Red Trunks.
Yeah, this is not looking too good for Lucifer right now. I mean, Bloody Jaw level 7 right now compared to Lucrezia level 9 on that Khepri. So when you see a 2-level difference between your supports 7 minutes into the game, it's not looking too great.
I mean, we can go back a couple of minutes and just watch how precise Voltage Gaming were keeping Lufipurr stunted in the duo lane.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Jaw really couldn't do anything on that Kumbhakarna. You can belly bump, but that's all you can really do from the safety of your tower. They weren't able to get in and try to get these kills, and instead, it just didn't work out for them. So now they're playing the try to catch up game as quick as possible without dying.
Yep. Ooh, Am Deadly here, maybe looking to steal away the speed buff. Not really contesting. Zithro taking a lot of damage. I Am Deadly maybe able to clean up. Yes, he does with the ultimate. Will the Thrill getting some damage onto Xenograde, but he's going to back it off now. Will the Thrill taking a lot of damage, but he's going to jump out.
Thankfully, the teleport was able to break the brutalize. Xenograde trying to get away. Helsing going to be able to finish him off and force into the cloud. That is not the actual. That's the clone there. Sorry, bud. Helsing going to be able to jump away. They're still trying to find him. Brutalize will connect, but Eagle going to say no, thank you. Beautiful way to get away. Thankfully for the Sun Wukong, but now this back half of the jungle and this tower up to them. Helsing decided to actually stay here, so Am Deadly not really going to have the mana to pursue it. Instead, going to disengage on both ends and go back.
Yeah, interesting note. Helsing's going a little more of an aggressive start, so starting with a Jotun's Wrath compared to Am Deadly, opting for that Breastplate of Valor. Interesting note on the two different starts, but we'll kind of see how it works out in this next engagement. Maybe Helsing, he's got a little more damage. Maybe we'll see if he, and ultimately takes the fight. He is a little behind, about a level behind, so at this point, it doesn't matter too much. Wukong, you're not really leveling your ultimate. Neither are you on tier, but the level difference, okay, it is just mitigated, so still a little behind is Helsing.
Look at the difference between the ADCs in the
Ooh.
duo lane here. Level 9 and level 12. Now, I usually would put my money on Neith in a lot of situations, but right now I would not with that 3-level difference. It's items, that's experience, that's gold in favor of Voltage Gaming. I don't care how good of a player you are. Sometimes your attacks are just going to hit a little harder, and damage can't going to be stolen by Voltage Gaming. So Lucifer slowly falling behind a smidge, and now we have Lucrezia dashing in, trying to get a pull on somebody. The stun, or the root, going to be able to finish him off. Spellboy going to take out Zithro, but Tycho Drum's taking a lot of damage. Gooshooter going to finish off Bloody Jaw, and then pull Will the Thrill back in. Purification and a teleport, and now he's kind of just stuck in tower here, but with 5 members here now, Lucrezia going to be able to take that last kill, and they should take this tower.
Yeah, that was a really awkward engagement coming out of Lucifer. They had this 3-man grouping that was working out well. They were roaming around the jungle, but they weren't really doing anything with it. And then, towards the end, towards the backside of the red camp, they just kind of decided to split up, and then everything just kind of fell apart from there. It was a nice little pinch coming out of Voltage Gaming, and they were able to clean it up nice and easy.
I'm waiting for these super hype plays that we saw earlier on, like the Janus ultimate, leading into not only the first blood, but then a second kill. I want to see those incredible hype plays, and right now Lucifer just not really giving us an opportunity to see that. They're playing so passive that unfortunately they're just going to end up snoozing their way out of this game. So I'm a little worried here, but Voltage Gaming pretty deep into the jungle. Now they want to take as much as they can and hopefully take a couple of lives.
Yeah, with the Thrill here. Looks like Voltage Gaming is still kind of around. Ooh, that was almost stolen by Xenograde there. Oh, but Zithro is pulled. Gonna take a lot of damage. Does get cleaned up by the Khepri. Am Deadly here, though. He's gonna try and get some damage onto Bloodjaw. Bloodjaw does knock him up into the air, but still running away. His Bloodjaw may be able to see. Oh, nice root coming out.
Fantastic route coming out. Helsing going to be able to finish up Goose Shooter in the back line. And now Bloody Jaw has a little bit of a better opportunity to try and help out his teammates here. Tycho Drums coming in. Route wasn't good, so you missed the first one. But now Lucretia pretty low in the tier, doing a lot of damage. I don't care what level you are. And Deadly going to get that last hit there. And now the only one that's really able to defend are Helsing and Will the Thrill. And Will the Thrill looking pretty low on all ends.
Yeah, I really don't know why Bloody Jaw decided to re-engage there. It was just... He charged back in, try and get some damage, maybe start another route. But he really just ended up dying for nothing. He's still sitting pretty far behind. He's level 9 compared to level 12 on that Khepri. Well behind the rest of the team, so...
Little bit of solo action over in Solo Island here, and Deadly in a pretty particular spot. Helsing being able to brush him out really just comes to having more mana. And Deadly can't really do anything except juke his best jukes. He's trying to get away as best he can, and Helsing all he needs is one more cudgel. He's still chasing it. Oh, he has a little bit left, but through space and time, going to bring all the team members here. He's about to get pinched hardcore. He used the bull instead of the eagle, so there's no way he's getting out. He's caught in the mana camp, and he's just gonna fall. There's nothing to it.
Yeah, brilliant 5-man rotation. Zithro now maybe caught out of position again. Khepri's right behind. Ooh, the pole is a little off the mark. Zithro now slowed. Khepri's just gonna be smacking around a little bit, nothing too much. Ooh, Zithro taking a lot of damage from Janus, and he's gonna go down.
Okay, when you're level 9 and the enemy support is 3 levels ahead of you that there's an issue. I hate to put it that way, but unfortunately Naja has not been the good pick. 0, 4, and 0, level 9. I can kind of give it to Kumbhakarna being level 9 because at least he's being helpful in the team fights, but Naja really not a presence. Instead, just been caught out of position way too much. A good bit of the kills that Voltage Gaming have been able to capitalize on. 14 minutes into the game, 2-11, Voltage Gaming up.
Yeah, it just seems like this Naja has been constantly picked. Voltage Gaming actually doing a really good job of getting people just a little out of position as Zenregrade and Spellboy do start this Gold Fury up. Maybe looking to zone here, but Tyr in the backline, level 16, just... Zithro knows he can't take him. He's a level 9 Naja, that's a level 16 Tyr. It's not even close. Voltage Gaming does get
Bloody Jaw can't even take him. The support can't take him. We saw earlier in that earlier fight that Deadly chunked the Kumbhakarna, and now we're going to see the same thing happen to the Neith here. Ice going to have to pop the sprint, but a beautiful jump over the wall by Deadly. That ultimate was on point, and now Voltage Gaming hope to keep the momentum going. They're chasing pretty hard. Will the Thrill teleport is down. They're all probably going to turn this corner here and attempt to get to the safety of the tower, and now Voltage Gaming going to look at that tier 2 on the left side. That's going to fall pretty quick.
Yep. Yes, it will. Deadly doing a good job of tanking that up. Oh, but Will the Thrill, he is here trying to find a kill onto Deadly, but not able to. Purification popped as he just runs away right now. Zithro still very low. Zithro going down again for a 5th time. Oh, but Goose Shooter has grabbed Will the Thrill, and he's going to go down.
Now you're in the depths of Voltage Gaming Co. There's just 5 members there. You're going to get obliterated. Even if it was Bloody Jaw, it would have happened. Now Ice going to get pulled back into the depths of everyone, and Xenograde going to get credit for that kill. And now the Phoenix falling very rapidly, not really going to be able to do anything about it. Lucretia used the ultimate on himself, so Khepri's going to come back with a little bit more help. Very smart play, since Voltage Gaming don't really have to use it in team fights so far.
Yeah, it actually ended up being a net gain in terms of health for Lucretia, so yeah, I'm sure he's pretty happy about that. They're going to go clear up this tier 2 as well in the mid lane. Just another step on their way to domination in this game.
Yeah, I don't really know what else we can say so far. It's 16 minutes, 22 seconds into the game. Voltage Gaming up 15 kills, and I don't even want to look at the graphs, but they are almost 13,000 experience and over 10,000 gold in favor of the Red Trunks. So if I were Lucifer, what I would do, really what it comes down to, is bunkering down, attempting to defend as best you can. And Voltage Gaming had been completely taking advantage of every team fight, of every objective, of everything. And we haven't seen any aggression really coming out of Lucifer. the only 2 kills they've gotten have been because of capitalization on mistakes that Voltage have made. But now that they have their momentum, they're not making a lot of mistakes anymore.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Oh, Zithro may be caught out again. He's just gonna... He's gonna run into 4 people and just be like, alright. Oh, nice ultimate to escape for now. But Helsing is still around the corner. They may be looking to collapse on him. Instead, they're gonna disengage and maybe head towards this fire giant. They do have plenty of damage, so it should be a relatively easy grab.
Now, note, all ultimates except for Zithro are still up, so there is good opportunity to try and steal here. Zithro coming in with the sash, trying to get a little bit of damage on the Goose Shooter, but it's going to be able to get away. Sanctuary pops, so no taiko drums for the dog there. Now, Will the Thrill pretty low on the receiving end of Tyr. That's all I have to say there. Now, Helsing getting pulled back, and there's just a lot of everything happening. Xenograde going to fall through the portal and then get the... Going to have him fall through the portal and then get the unstable vortex for the kill. And now Lucifer's Titan still under attack by all of those minions there. And in the meantime, they're cleaning up Lucifer on the field as well. So even if they didn't get that fire giant earlier on, it was a good enough bait, a good enough target. I'm not really sure what you want to call it, but Voltage have it now completely unquestioned.
Yeah, the only really chance that right now Lucifer does have to get into the game is to steal this fire giant. No one's in position to do so. This is not looking good for Lucifer.
Yeah, you're level 11. If you were on par with Voltage Gaming when it came to levels, yes, the Naja would do a lot of damage and would be a something to worry about, something to sweat under the collar when you see it coming down your lane. But unfortunately, level 11, the lowest level here, 0, 6, and 0, and Voltage Gaming continue their momentum. I don't really think there's anything that can stop this train at this point unless we see fantastic gameplay coming out from Lucifer in these team fights, and unfortunately they're just too far behind at this point as we see Tyr just jumping in doing whatever he wants. Will the Thrill forced to teleport out, and Lucretia here with the pull, there's the portal forcing the purification, and now Am Deadly's right behind, still going to be able to finish him off more than likely. Yep, Am Deadly doing whatever he wants.
Diving the Titan to get the kill there. Zithro cleaned up by Goose Shooter. And now Bloody Jaw is sitting here. He's going to be caught in a 5. He's going to be very dead.
Yeah, that's that passive proccing, and there's nothing we can really do about it. Goose Shooter going to get that last hit, and now the sights are turned on the Titan. It's fallen very quickly, actually. 5,000, 4,000, 3,000. Caves of Ice did manage to get the kill onto the Khepri, but it's not really going to be enough as the damage coming out from Voltage Gaming are going to finish this at 19 minutes, 41 seconds. Lucifer 3, Voltage Gaming 21.
That was a little bit of a stomp. Voltage Gaming just very much coordinated a lot more than Lucifer. Lucifer just seemed to have a lot of problems with, coordination and keeping everything together. They just kind of seemed behind from the beginning, almost.
And we can't knock Voltage Gaming's communication. Even from early on, we saw very strong examples of that with Xenograde's ultimate into the duo lane that ended up giving them 2 kills immediately. Voltage Gaming, not to say Lucifer were bad, they played with what they had. Unfortunately, Voltage Gaming had that cohesion, they had that communication, and they just had the plays. They made it work for them. They capitalized where Lucifer were a little bit too passive, and we saw that in both the numbers for player damage and everywhere else.
Yeah, Helsing actually did a pretty good job against Tyr in lane. He matched up pretty well. He was level 17 compared to Tyr's level 19. Tyr was 6-0, so I mean, some of the level disparity can be accounted there, but yeah, Helsing still did a really good job. Actually, almost out-damaging the Tyr. He did out-damage the Apollo, but did have the highest damage on his team. Helsing did good, but it just seemed like a lot of the coordination lacked between like the jungle and just the mid lane. And it was just not a fun time. That's kind of what
this meta is about now. It's that mid lane jungle cohesion. The better you work together, the better chance you have of getting ahead early on and then really starting to get that momentum going like Voltage did. And unfortunately, Zithro just wasn't really there for it.
Yeah, it doesn't look like they were. Well, folks, we'll be back with the next round in a few minutes here. Stay tuned and enjoy the music. This is the the North American Challenger Cup, sponsored by Tier Monster and hi-rez Studios. We'll be right back after this short break.